And speaking of competitive stuff that's going on in the Rocket League scene, we want to talk about this brand new announcement that came in just last week, the Rocket League Renegade Cup, as sponsored by Psyonix, out to all of the community tournaments. Now, for those of you not aware, you might have missed the announcement. I'm sure you didn't, but in short, this is basically a series of 4 monthly tournaments for EU and North America each, hosted by community tournament organizers like Rival and Rewind, etc., and it'll be sponsored by Psyonix. The first two, the North America one is hosted by Rival Esports. The EU one is hosted by Rocket Baguette. Two incredible
community
tournament
orgs.
I might add, by the way. Yeah, they've done some really good stuff with the money that Psyonix have been able to give them. Obviously, the play was by Rocket Baguette very recently, and of course, Rival doing massive stuff with their monthlies and everything. I did the maths before we actually went on air. It's $5,000 per month, means that there's $20,000 up for grabs per region, plus $20,000 for the finals of each region, means $40,000 for EU and $40,000 for NA. I think it's going to be a very exciting time, man.
That's absolutely nuts, considering there was only $50,000 for the whole of RLRS last season, when now up to 100,000. So you got to think 80,000. Psyonix are putting not only a lot of trust into their community organizers and basically giving them what I'd call the Rocket League miners, sort of like that role in the community, but also they're just funding the bubble scenes to the point where the bubble scene might have to go like a step lower, because that's where the sort of tier 3 teams are in. Then you've got the bubble teams below that. So it's exciting times for the competitive scene of Rocket League, really.
Yeah, I mean, I'm really hyped to see how well this goes. Obviously, to put a lot of faith in the community organizers. I think the one thing that I'd really like to see is a little bit of step progression, because one of the things I've always wanted to see overall in the Rocket League scene and the RLCS and RLRS as a whole is just more steps on the ladder, because I think I'm not really very cool with the way that you qualify for something like RLRS. I think that you need sort of like a league sort of structure, sort of like a way to progress into the RLRS without having to go through 2 days of qualifiers, essentially. I think that's really the ideal thing. And I don't expect it to come in immediately, obviously, things take time. But with the way that this Renegade Cup is playing out, I'm actually going to be really excited to see how they'll be able to take it forward in the future and try to see if they can implement, especially if they can implement community orgs into like the grassroots areas. I think that'll be a really, really cool thing, because the grassroots scene, I think, in the overall Rocket League space is something that requires a lot of work, in my opinion.
For me, my sort of like end goal, which I think will come out of these Renegade Cups, is that this will form the sort of like small community miners each monthly, to which, just looking at how the Renegade Cup works, where the top 32 teams get basically some seeding points to then make their way through to the finals to be the top, is it 16 from each region or top 8? I can't remember just off the top of my head. But essentially, that feels like they're slowly trying to put this format in for maybe even as soon as next RLRS season. That would then make your playoffs for RLRS, and you've got to play through each and every monthly sort of tournament, which hasn't been done yet in Rocket League, but it really rewards teams for consistency. Because Jay, I'm just going to put it out there right at the moment, it's the thing which has been bugging me so much. After rival play-ins, these teams just like disband. They haven't made it into RLRS, they disband. That annoys the hell out of me.
Oh yeah.
Stick together, you'll be stronger. It was teams like the Bricks and that, which formed, they formed after the play-ins last season, but they stayed together, made it through the whole of RLCS season, and then when it came into the RLCS sort of off-season, they were just clapping every single one. And don't get me wrong, it's a bit unfortunate what happened to the Bricks in the end, with the team basically disbanding. But that was just because they were like showing how good they are. PSG picking up Fruity, and of course Triple Trouble picking up Speed. You can't blame the lads for separating, because they're secured spots, and that just shows the mentality was super strong there. And just big ups to Chakron basically for thinking that through. He's a smart lad.
Yeah, and of course, props to Chakaron as well for going through the whole bracket run, which we will come to later when we get to our tournament results and updates. But yeah, any closing thoughts on the Renegade Cup? Because I think we've kind of aired the fact that we think it's going to be amazing. I think there could be a couple of little bits and pieces that we could work on for the general future of the scene. I'm going to be really excited to see how this whole thing plays out.
For me, so you've got 4 tournament organizers get each of like EU's and NA's section. For me, I'm a little bit worried for just saying EU in this case, and let's not think about NA, but that fourth
No,
spot
this
for
is a
me,
no North America zone.
yeah, for me, that fourth spot, I'm a little bit unsure of where that's going to go, which is also exciting because think about EU. I'm just going to say it now. It's got to be Rival, Rocket Baguette already have the first one, and then I'm going to say Rewind because, you know, all of them have proven the caliber. That fourth spot, which will most likely be January, that's going to be very exciting to see which tournament org is going to sort of rise up to the challenge, you know, Jay? So this is a sort of separate little point of near enough building the whole of the community scene for Rocket League to a strong foundation.
Yeah, I'd like to see some other community organizers like Rocket League Hub, for example, get involved. I know we were talking about the My Insanity lot that run the TCS League. I think that would be a fun little way for them to sort of boost their profile in Rocket League. So there's actually a lot of different organizers who you might not have heard of that could actually step up to the plate. And if they go that far, I'm going to be really excited to see how far we'll be able to develop the bubble scene because it is one of the bits that need the most most support, in my opinion. And it is kind of the underbelly that keeps everything up overall in Rocket League. So yeah, that's the Renegade Cup. Make sure you keep your eyes on all the news for that. Obviously, we'll be bringing you our updates every week on Aftershock as it airs on Mondays from 5 p.m. at BST.